just 10% of that level of commitment outside. In terms of physical, in terms of for me, you guys know that I'm more of an online person. Like I can spend 24 hours online. I can be in my corner of my bed, tweeting, writing, all of it. When it comes to physical events like this, it's always very difficult for me. Like I don't leave my house except when I want to when I'm going to play football. That's the only thing that I know that. I mean, in fact, if this was a Saturday, I would have said, "Bro, I want to play football. Let's move it to somewhere." So football is probably the only thing that takes me out of my house. Aside anything that brings plenty money, of course. If something's going, I mean, if you have a 200 million naira deal for me, I believe everything I meet you even in anyway. So apart from that, and Madam Dikula has been, I know, like the level of commitment he gives to this, this arrangement. Like you may not remember, I think it was an event you guys invited me to in Lobo or something, like 10 years ago or something, like like something like that. Like the level of commitment you guys give to supporting the Muslim talent is amazing. It's just amazing. Like no, to be honest with you, I don't, I wish we have, a lot of them like that in the society who give their time, their resources. They're not making money from this, and they sacrifice of that to push all of this. Me, I'm just online. People say, "Oh, I give a lot of information and advice," but my own is simple now. My own is just to be in my corner of my bed, raise my leg on the wall, and be tweeting or be advising or something. I mean, that's not my own. Anything that involves, gathering this kind of event like this, it's always very, I know what it is. So people that do that constantly, to be honest with you, I have a lot of respect for them. Madam Dikulai and his group, his friends, Aziz, and all of those men, they do a whole lot of these things for the Muslim woman. I have a whole lot of respect for them. So when he approached me last month or so to say that they needed me this event, as long as I'm in Lagos on the day you fix it, because I move a lot, I move a lot. I'm always on the move everywhere. As long as I'm in Lagos, I give them a date that I'll be in Lagos, and inshallah, I'm happy to be here. So again, I think I want to make it as informal as possible, as conversational as possible. Sometimes projecting might make things a little bit too formal. Exactly. But notwithstanding, I will try to combine. I might not use the slide or something. I might not follow, but I think I can still have something, something to just have as a guide, right? So let me just do that. So you guys know that I talk a lot. What time I have? I mean, between, is it 1.5 hours? Is that fine? 90 minutes?
Honestly, it's a call.
Okay, no problem, because this is where if I don't be up to that and all that. So what's my audience profile? I called you. I think we were talking about that. I called you like 10 minutes ago. What's the audience profile? Are they students, working
class mostly?
Working class, working stuff, business, 95.
Also,
Business owners are part of them. Are there 95 people with it too? 95 that go to work and okay. I mean, so I'll cover some stuff. I mean, I think yeah. I mean, that makes things a little bit easy.
People are also following online.
Online, right? Okay, that's good. So I'm going to call this raising the generation of business trailblazers. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, whether it's a Muslim, whether it's identified, whether it's most of those, but at the end of the day, we still have some business. And my own experience, I'm going to share my experience a lot, all of this thing. But in fact, let me just make this presentation in my own story. My story from, is there anybody that has seen university here? School? Good. My story from university up to where I am today. I just use and things. So that's essentially what I do. So it's the generation of business trailblazers. In 2006, I think it was April or June, July 13th. So last week made it exactly 20 years ago. I sent this email to this man called Mr. Yusuf. Have you met Mr. Yusuf for this program before?
You met him before, but not physically.
Oh, it's virtual. I mean, this man you are talking, this one you are seeing is another gem in the Muslim community. Quiet, silent. They are not makers. Me, I mean, not maker. Everybody knows me. But this man you are seeing, Mr. Yusuf, former CEO of Accenture Nigeria. Now what's the company again now? Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's not in Anderson now. Oh, okay. Okay, very happy. Okay, the about some measure. I mean, I know you're following all of that. Former president of the Society of Nigeria Economic Society, Nigeria Economic Society, something. Member of governing council of Antel is just everywhere. Is highly. So in 2006, when I was in final year in school in Ife, anybody from Ife, great Ife. Sorry.
Very proud people.
So, 2006, I was a final year student. And one thing about me that I had a whole lot of information when I was a student. To forget about the fact that I didn't have a smartphone because then nobody had it. The only people that are big that had smartphone. That phone was what I was using. And but the information in my head that time was more than what people that had internet, laptop at home, everything today. Because I started to graduate and I realized that all of these things you guys do, I knew them 20 years ago when all I had was a Palata phone. I can't even back with the phone. Go to cyber cafe and just spend 1 hour about 30 minutes. What I would know, what I knew. So I knew a lot about labor market, about things I needed. Like I had that ambition that okay, bro, you finished university this year, this is where you want to be. Oh, I had a brother, you said that has been invited there, right? Okay. I had him too that was doing well, 6 years older than me, but he finished university early. He graduated at 20, so he had a very fast career. Right? I mean, I was 24, I was still in school. So in 26, 2007, I was 24. So I knew I had a lot of this man was doing well. Anytime he came home, was driving a good car, he was always giving us money, and I had all of those things. And it's like when I can be like this man too now. So I had that kind of what did I need to do? Like I realized I was very, very brilliant in school. So I needed, okay, man, let me just, also, plan my life around this man and to just, at least maybe I can also become something like him. So I had that ambition right from when I was in school. So in my room in our hall in Ife, we're now having, it was like more of a Muslim, like 4 or 5 Muslims were in my roommates. I mean, I wasn't so active in MSSN, but I used to go and pray in mosque and also, help them with tutorials for junior one. So they now asked, so I never had the more active MSSS schools in my say that Unifemga is the OAU Muslim Graduate Association, right? The Muslim, graduates that have been working. Like they wanted to organize a career seminar in Lagos, something like this, but we get on the platform of Unifemga to just support like to give information to whatever they can do to people on career and how to handle all of those things, interviews, all of those things. Like just about them, our partner discussed the new room in the pay. So everybody is Yoruba. Sorry, you guys speak for Yoruba. Oh, you are not Yoruba. Okay, don't worry. The content make it to understand it. I just about had those are fast talking the room that in them they give us 3 slots. They give us 3 slots. We that are still Muslim students, we to come and attend this seminar because they wrote us so. But their fathers are not so much interested in 9 to 5 jobs, so they didn't even get people to fill the slots. Yeah, I was just sitting on my bed. I just heard a part talking about me that I had programmed my mind that bro, anything to get good job outside. I just said, Afa, I heard that there is one conference that is holding Lagos by the FEMGA and they're talking about the world. Me, I don't mind. I can go to Lagos to attend. That's why they gave me one slot that day. Until I gave me one slot, no problem. Saturday. Saturday, I go in the morning from Lagos, from Ife to Lagos. I came to Lagos. I think it's somewhere in the island. So they put people in room like this. Most people that not maybe people that have already started working or looking for job or just that for something setting. And I was a student in final year. I was just, but everything you were seeing was they had a lot of kind of self-presenters. One of the presenters was a man called Mr. Yusuf. I think it was like a senior manager or partner in Accenture at that time. So he now he now told me that, so I now listen to him, boy, this man dey yarn o. Everything wey this man dey talk just dey make sense. Say if you interview, this is what you will say. This job, this is what you say to get job. This is what you feel like say this man. I was really impressed with his presentation. That the same I'm presenting to you guys. I was also impressed with his presentation. No wala now. I went back to Ife. that same evening, go back to campus. It exposed me much better, right? So, and I was, this man, this thing was telling people on that day. If you came to come and tell my colleagues, all students, people will benefit from this thing, because this man made a whole lot of sense from things to say in interview, to all of those things. That was when I got Ife. I wanted to use the platform of Nigerian Economic Student Association, which is not religious or anything. But I was part of the academic committee, Ni was our president, Christian of that. Guys, I saw one, I did one man a few weeks ago. This man was talking about job tests, interviews, and things, all of those things. Can we just use the platform of NESA to invite him to come and speak to students in our department of those things? But the president not listening to me well. Okay, I packed that one. Thankfully, a few weeks later, I was made the president of my faculty's sciences Muslim students group. Just the Muslim student group. Now I have a platform I can use to bring in. And I sent him, I didn't have his email. I sent an email to one of the documents they shared on that day. I saw an email of the organizer's email. And I sent an email to somebody on that, there was one man that was on that day. His name was Mr. Ani Yusuf. Please, can you send me his email address? That was how I got Mr. Ani's email address in 2006. And I sent him this message. Association of Muslim Science Students. Well, this was my email address 20 years ago. Salam alaikum. The Abu Association is the umbrella body of Muslim students in Faculty of Science. Part of the program we organize every session is a symposium and send up program for our graduating brothers and sisters. The theme of this session, of this program is the employment reality of Nigerian system, way out for the Muslim graduates. The seminar is to be divided into two parts, one on self-employment, the other on job search. While we have got the speaker for the first part, we are yet to get someone to talk on the other part, CV writing, job search, etc. Having listened to your November lecture on job sometime in April this year, some of our members have suggested that we contact you. We therefore invite you as our guest lecturer in this capacity building program. The event is tentatively July 22, 2006. Right? What's the date? Probably 20 years ago. And the venue is Social Sciences Lecture Charter, OAU. Time is 10 a.m. While we understand your very busy nature, we shall be grateful if you can squeeze out your time to assist us in the possibility of being able to blah, 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 blah. That was the email I sent to him. And he replied to say, give me a time. Like this man that I thought, a whole partner that sent to one student was just sending him email, he was able to commit himself that it's like me sending me to the ED, so I need the Zenith Bank. Me that I'm just one student, somewhere, one post student somewhere, like sending an email to ED and he accepting. Humility, ability to help, to support, to send information to help other people. Accepted this email. He came to campus with his wife and he delivered this letter to us on Saturday like this. Everybody was spellbound. And he left Ife that day. And I kept in touch with him. I kept in touch with him since that day. I was sending me from time to time, Mr. Ali, salam alaikum, you are fine. Later when I graduated, I sent my CV to him. From there, it became sort of like a bro to him, invited him to, like between then, that time and today, I've invited him to at least 5 programs. And he was always attending. He was always sacrificing his time to do everything. I've invited him for programs, both virtual, physical, everything. I haven't talked about the story in my book. Both of you. I don't know. Is there anybody here who has read my book, Go to Victoria Land? Good. I mentioned him in that book. So that was how that single event led to this man, as he's been. So, and that is one thing I said I will also forever give back. What this man did for me when I was in final year in Ife, I will forever do it for the Muslim students for the rest of my life. Younger Muslims. That's why events like this, I try to make sure I attend, even if it's just virtual. As far as paying back what people like this have done for us. And they're still doing it now, 20 years later. But it's not there. In 2005, even before that this one was even 21 years ago, before this one. But that was me, right? My brother, who was there when he presented it? How many years ago? Okay. 2005 December, Papa don't hold me for school. Saka owed me for Ife. And I sent him an email. Please, I need a phone. Phone, no, how much was phone that time? I think phone was maybe 10,000, like a good phone was 10,000 that time, or something like a good, phone. No. So I think 10 was maybe 5 was good as all this I was scholarship money. I was very let me not lie. I was very bad in personal finance. I'm not like that's why I don't even give advice on personal finance. That's why I don't give advice on personal finance. I was very, very bad in personal finance. Chevron gave me 250,000 in 2004. 250,000 was 250,000 how big in 2004 to like scholarship. I finished the money within just few months. I started begging for 5,000 at home again. Thankfully, they did not get tired of me because they knew I had potential. Like, oh my humor we did, so let's overlook all these bad habits, all these small, small things he did. So I sent an email to brother Kim in April 2005, or maybe December like that. And he replied me to say this. I said I needed the phone in Ife. Someone that last 250,000 like 3 months ago, last 30, and to buy 20,000, buy 20,000. Return it. One person I bought one palace a computer like this, 40,000. I put it in my room in university. Just playing game. Or doing kidding. I blasted the money. Somebody borrow 5,000. You return it 10,000. No return it. You go and use me. I think people are very mobile. Me, I'm very like. I was a spoiled. I would say I was spoiled right or something like. I was like cook. Remember, I don't 2 hours. Just go to this clinic, go and eat. So, the time when my roommate. So he now replied me to this email. He said, Inshallah, I should be able. So the main I said to you was that I wanted to buy a phone, blah blah blah. Give me money. And I said, Inshallah, I should be able to help you with 10,000 later in the month. If you can call me on 16th of December to send me a text or email, all of this. And this second one is very important. How I have stored this. Please, you wrote it 3 times. Please, please, and please do well to still come up with the first class. It will be good for you and make the future easier to maneuver through. It will also be a great honor for the family. So please stay away from any distraction that could inhibit from you from this group. This was an advice he gave to me when I entered final year in Ife. I think we resumed in November 2005, and this was 1 month after. This advice is probably the best advice I got in my life. That first class, I got grace and it made my life easy. I'm not lying. Virtually everywhere I threw my CV, they always invited me for tests. Land left for me to pass it. And almost everything from there, Alhamdulillah worked fine. So it's another somebody gave me 21 years ago, my brother. I'm giving this. For those of you who are in school, I'm giving you the same advice. So my story is that, so they see that the companies have worked. So my story is that the companies have worked. So in 2006, of course, so when I graduated, so I finished, I think we finished at the time like October 2006 or so. I came to Lagos. I came to Lagos, I did my CV, blah, 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 my CV based on the template Mr. Yusuf gave us, and I did my CV, play all of those things. Started calculating my CV. I sent it to him too, because, don't say, leverage is also very important in life. If you know someone that can help you be sending your CV to different companies or, so I sent my CV to him, all of those things. Who was working in Stanbic IBTC, he was, a young man doing well, and he knew people in other, companies too. So this Vertiva company invited me for, how many of you know Vertiva? Vertiva Capital Management, an investment. You guys are not finance, some you are not finance, finance is very, they're very big on, in that space. So Vertiva was the first company that invited me for tests. I passed, interview I passed. They now gave me what was called pre-NYC offer, 50,000 per month. That time, 2006, 2007, and they gave me the condition that if I got posted to Lagos, so I also serve with them. I just spent 2-3 months there. Unfortunately, I learned finance. I learned a whole lot of things. As a young man, and that was the first place I worked. After that, I went for my NYC. NYC, I was a teacher, so no much events. I was in 1 year in Sokoto. I had some events, but I'm not relevant to this. Like I went to write an article against the governor, and they extended my NYC, but I won't teach you that one. Don't write against governor. So I spent my 1 year in exactly. So don't just start with 1 year. But if you are posted to school, doesn't matter. Use the opportunity to learn. So this 1 year I used it for write my account, to start my account. Actually, it was very good. People though I studied economics, but this is the 1 year I realized, but I cannot be sitting in one village under street under for 1 year now. after teaching for 30 minutes during the day, 1 hour, I was done for the day. I had a whole lot of me that was just I just came back from me where everything was all oh boy, I cannot be space my okay, let me just go for ICANN. For ICANN. First one I even won the first prize, foundation of those things. But later I became Oludu. And but I finished it eventually 2011. So I mean when I came back, and this is very important. I think I said my candidates, right? When I came back, I started sending my CVs again. When after my name, I started sending my CVs again, right? And Oando needed what we call a fixed asset accountant, a young accountant to be, what the depreciation on all the assets, all of those things, right? How many of you is an accountant? Have accounting background there? Good. So at fixed asset accounting, they needed a young man to be doing it. They now saw my CV. They saw my CV that I had not qualified, but they saw my CV that I had started writing ICANN exam, and I won the first prize in that foundation exam I wrote. I gave them holy shisha. I passed the test, I passed the interview, and I got the job in Oando. Simply because, not because of the economics I taught for 4 years, but because of the ICANN I started doing my NYC out of boredom. Sometimes you do some things and you never can tell how it will help you. Probably if I had not done ICANN, in my NYC, opening might not have come. So that was I started in Rwanda. I don't know, a few years later I qualified because it's not even. When I don't know the motivation, I became a little bit relaxed, and I think but notwithstanding, I still passed. So I spent 4 years in Rwanda, 2008, 2012. Fixed assets and all of those things. Later I started in Seven Energy. I not joined Seven Energy. I not come to Seven Energy in 2012. How did I see the opportunity for Seven Energy? I was working in my desk on 25th of October 2011. I was reading Guardian newspaper, and I saw an advert. An exploration and production company located. They didn't mention the name. It was KPMG that were the recruiter. Some of this recruitment they use consultant for that. So they didn't mention that. They just say an upstream oil and gas company with assets in Akwa Ibom State is looking for tax accountant, right? And blah blah blah. 3 years experience. ICANN. Industry experience is another advantage. That's all of that. Don't know that. I think this one, 3 years experience. I just don't know 2008, now 2011. I think 3 years. I finished my ICANN a few months ago. I qualified. All and gas, I've been working on it for 3 years. I took all the boxes and I just sent my CV. It's not because I didn't want to disturb this program. I can show you the email I sent. That email I sent. I sent to KPMG. Tax accountant. Meanwhile, let me even mention that one people that I sent the one that fixed accountant in 2009. A CFO within Oando that posted me to tax. That was how I just changed my desk. Like, okay, you guys, your whole job now just to become the creation for morning tonight. You are going to be go and join tax, to come, doing tax. So that was how I was moved to tax department within Oando 2009. Thankfully, that move became something that helped my life. That when this opportunity came, it was a tax accountant role. So when I saw this newspaper, tax accountant, I just clicked my picture and I got it. Long story short, I got this offer in December 2000. The offer came in 2012. I applied on 25th of October 2011, but interviews, all of those like that month after I moved in. Guess what? The last salary I was collecting in Rwanda, by the time I was leaving was about 330K per month, right? These guys offered me 502,000 per month. 2012, 500K. Imagine somebody on 500K 2012. Imagine somebody on 500K 2012. This is the guys offered me. People now like, Brian, this one, people knew this, people didn't know this. But how can you leave Oando and say you want to join Seven Energy? I didn't know. So sometimes, big brand, that's a small organization that you even know and are doing very well. You know that. So sometimes big brands are good. Of course, one of the brands also help me too, because you guys will also be happy to get somebody from one. So big brands also help. But sometimes you see also small companies. Their office is just they don't even have a signboard. They are plenty in the Kogi like that. or in VI. They even went to signboard. One was 8-story building. I was on the 12th story. I was on the floor. And I just had to go that time. These guys were just, just somewhere one bungalow in Anifochi in VI. So, and they were offering me 50% or 50% of what these guys were offering me. But I jumped ship. My papa get to handle now. So I jumped 7energy. Thankfully, it was a growing company. It was a growing company, and that offered me the opportunity to, because one was a big company, like many staff, and I was just a drop in the ocean. Like, big organizations, you have thousands of staff, their own job is just to be, but here was the company they were just going. In fact, we started the tax department. The equipment as tax accountant, they went somebody as a tax manager for Konoko Phillips, Madam Titi, to be my boss. So we started the tax department. So that made me to be more involved. I was very involved. I started building a gas plant in Akwa Ibom State. When I say gas plant, I don't mean this roadside, the big factory, big gas company. We have a whole lot of stuff. So I was traveling to Akwa Ibom, all those things. So that thing gave me a whole lot of exposure about tax too. And it was even on this job that I met with Idele. And I was coming back to a story. But on this job, because I was anything I know me, I was always sharing it. So I was always contributing to tax debate on LinkedIn, on everywhere. I was even attending training. How took notice of me from this? How Idele took notice of me? Oh, how many people here? Who knows Sir Idele here? Everybody should know. The man that they used to drag out. Used to drag him that this one when he was equal. That man, I don't know how he does it too. I've never seen, no matter how you provoke him, you still calm. If you ask him questions that will make him get angry, he will still calm down to explain to you that this man, you never, that man, I wish he is good. So I met Taiwan on this job because I was, always talking about tax. He just noticed me. Also, and this I used to do too. He was also very big on careers, advancement of those. So he used to say all of those things. I invited him to one of my programs too. So it was on this job that I met him, and he was also like our consultant at some point. So we used PwC as our consultant, so it was on this job I met him. So 7energy was, doing okay, tax department, about two, myself. And as of 2016, my boss was posted to HR, and I became the head of tax. As somebody became, started my own role. So at some point, 2019, a British company called 7energy, we were known as Savannah Petrol, but we are not 7energy because everybody is changing from petrol to energy because of all these decarbonization, all these buzzwords. The truth is that all of them is petroleum that is still the bulk of their money, but they want to just, everybody wants to be, because everybody, Seplat is changing the name from Seplat Petroleum to Seplat Energy. Everybody is giving petroleum and converting to energy. It just, but they used to be Savannah Petroleum that time, not Savannah Energy. So they came to acquire our company, they come about some part of 7energy in 2019. And 1 month before, I was promoted to manager. Yeah, so I was manager of Savannah Energy. We were doing well, doing all of those things. We were expanding. At some point, Akugas, one of the subsidiaries of Savannah Energy, was one that was supplying gas that was generating 10% of Nigeria's electricity. At some point, the whole electricity in Nigeria has been generated. The gas that's generating it, 10% of it comes from our gas, Savannah Energy. So it's we're that big. All of those, but again, just all those old coded companies, I don't even know their, it's not, sometimes plans. I was getting promotion of this, all of these things, and all of this. Now, something happened. There was a change there was a slight change in leadership in Nigeria finance in 2009 and all of that. So a woman from bank was brought to be head of finance for Nigeria. For Savannah, and I was the head of tax and at some point head of supply chain too. So I was reporting to the group head of tax in London, but indirectly reporting to this woman in Nigeria who came from bank. I mean, oil and gas is a very it's a very liberal industry. Nobody cares about all those petty things. Like nobody can shout on you. Like life in oil and gas is is like respect for human dignity. So that was the work style I was used to. So I mean, one woman came from bank, and bank people are very like very toxic and like the way they shout at it, madam, I will consider him by you. But then because it was the guy, everybody was afraid. People were now people were scared of me. Oh, madam, you cannot be shouting at me because of the work. Oh. So we're not getting along so well, and so I just angrily resigned one day. People thought I was mad. How can you resign and no like gas job? You are going fast. Like in fact, I was the first person that I wrote organically from I was entry level, not entry, let me say second level, because when I said 3 years experience there, right when I was wanted to join, so that I was organically become a manager. When I was department, I was getting promotion every 2 years. I rose so much. And I probably maybe some people also consider it a threat. So I didn't get along with that. I mean, and I just angrily resigned, quitting a job that was paying me a whole lot of money, millions of naira, 2022. Oga came to see me in one of my office. I mean, we moved to another that's Ozumba, that building owned by Wando. I mean, interestingly, Tabana eventually moved to a building owned by Wando. So I angrily resigned in February 2022. I angrily resigned. But and that's an advice. I mean, why it's in hindsight, sometimes it's not the best. Sometimes it's not the best. Sometimes you probably and I interviewed Mr. Babs Omotowa, former MD of NLNG Center, and he said something. He said he had similar experience at a point in his career where he was working in when Shell sent him to Shell Aberdeen from Shell Nigeria to Shell Aberdeen, Scotland, and he had a very, very difficult boss. And it was like the boss was giving him problem. And when they wanted to just resign, not told his wife at home that this work, I'm tired of this work. Like this work is one boss is making my job crazy. And the wife told him, the wife told him, I know this few months ago when I was inviting him as a guest for one of these sessions that was organized on Twitter. He now says that happened like 20 years when he was just mid in his career. Shell sent him from Nigeria to Shell Aberdeen. So this difficult boss was giving, and in even one they say, boy, I'm tired. One boss was always shouting at me, God, I'm not doing this work, I'm going to resign. The wife now told him in the bedroom that, are you working for the one working for the company? People will go, people will come, but the company will remain. And that was why he did not resign. That advice by his wife was why he did not resign. Guess what? That man later became, it was true. At some point, the boss left. The man was posted back to Nigeria. That man later became MD of NLNG in Nigeria. On secondment from Shell, because Shell is one of the major shareholders of NLNG. So Shell used to produce MD. Imagine if he had resigned when he was still, middle of his career because one boss was shouting at him. So please, what I did there, it turned out well, sort of, but sometimes you don't need things. Sometimes you have to weigh your options. Sometimes don't act rash in your decisions. I acted rash. I had a shouting woman with that woman in our office. Like I had a shouting woman, and I went back to my desk and I just typed a resignation letter. But if Mr. Baff had done the same thing, he probably would not have become MD of LNG later in his life. In fact, after LNG was promoted to Shell headquarters in Hague, Netherlands, he became global VP of Shell, covering about 40 countries. So sometimes, some tough moments in our career, in our business, the way we react, we need to, watch all of those things. So, but me, I was woman was many and what the bank I will give by you. But everybody was, if she was passing, people would be like headmaster, everybody yeah, I'm not like that person, like all my career. NYC is all like that. So I'm not this career is my MD, I meet my MD in the jail Bafa. I meet my MD, it doesn't stop people, give me money. That's how me I was raised in all like that. So good morning, ma. So all those things, I started angrily resign PwC. So in Tabana Energy because of that situation with that woman. Maybe, the best I probably could have been, maybe I would have been a director in this company today if I was still there or something. But I knew that, but two leverages I had, which made number one, I knew that I spent 10 years in this company. Right? Remember I said I joined 2012, right? Because it's still the same company. Remember when these guys take over took over the source the company, just new owners. I knew I spent 10 years and I knew I was going to get a decent money by company policy. Pengasan had negotiated that any staff that was resigning after some years, we get some pay, good pay, based on the number of years it's not of those things. I knew that if I resigned today, I was going to get my exit pay. Or to make sense there. Number two, I knew that with my visibility in the industry, with my network, not be difficult for me to get another job. I knew that too. So I had leverage. So what about leverage here? Do your headmaster, respect your headmaster, and let her be your headmaster, and let her be your headmistress, and just good morning, lick us, and soldier go, soldier come. So, in fact, that woman had left the company now. Interestingly, she had left. I mean, there were some issues that I understand there were some things, and maybe last year or so she had left herself. Like that thing that that Oga Bab's wife's advice him that, are you working for the company or working for your boss? That woman too has left now. I mean, I left in 2022. I think she left in 2025 or so. She was, maybe she was asking for something. So, some decisions. So I took the decision. But me, those two leverages I had. Number one, I was going to collect money, big money, decent money, because of the number of years I had worked. Another thing I realized that I may be because of the way the things were going. I've been having that running issue with that woman for like 3, 4, 5 years. And if you are a bad leaver, if you leave on the condition of being sacked, you are not entitled to that money. And I was afraid that one day, things might get a little bit thinner and they will sack me and I will not be entitled to that money again. But let me get me. So that was also part of the calculation that this woman that we have been having for the past 6 months, and she's my boss, all of those things, something can happen, they can sack me, and I'll not be entitled to, because if they sack you, I'm not entitled to the money, because it's for misconduct or something. I just resigned. So I got my money, and I immediately that same day, and I sent an email in my work, and that's one. Network is very important. So all the work I was doing there was taxed in the two companies was taxed. Because I was visible, I had been known almost throughout Nigeria as the guy that was always talking tax, talking, petroleum industry, talking career, talking thought leadership, all of those things. I knew partners in all the big four and more. I've been able to build. In 10 years I worked with these two companies. I was, I had already known people from the industry and outside the industry. Average. Network, relationships, I built. I sent an email to partners in each of the 4 big four, PwC, KPMG, in fact, all the 5, PwC, KPMG, Deloitte, EY, and Anderson. That, of course, I did not tell them that the reason I was leaving, I wanted to leave was because of one woman that was a thorn in my flesh. I spent 10 years, 40 years, I can't remember, 40 years in the oil and gas industry, Let me even show you that email. Let me show you that email so that you can know how things work. So I spent 40 years in the oil and gas industry, right? And I spent 40 years in the oil and gas industry. I'm bored. I've done stuff. I've been able to reach the peak at the end of tax. But I want to explore consulting. It gets in journey PwC. So February 2022, I sent this email. The same day I drafted it. I did a special cover letter. Okay, sorry, this was much later. Okay. Where is it starting now? Yeah, see this, February 4th, 2000. This was the day I resigned. I gave them 3 months notice. I can do. You are resigned, you have to give the company 3 months. So I gave 3 months notice. And I sent this email to my contact in all the big four, my partner, the big boss, because I had met them in the course of work now. Artist Shepo, Motimo. I sent it to Taiwo, PwC. I sent it to Ayo Salami. Ayo Salami, do you know him? Ayo Salami KPMG. You can invite him here. He's also very active in Muslim stuff. Cheye of Deloitte. The Mitoko Shamagbeyi. of EY and my boss in oil and gas at some point, Dipo Maye in Anderson. You know Dipo Maye? Okay, so I knew all of them because of, this country, everything is a circle. Forget about, everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows everybody. Most people I'm asking, do you know if he knows one or two? Because I asked him, do you know if he said he knows him? He even told me. So, one thing about career is at some point, most of you guys, if you don't know somebody that knows the person, somebody knows somebody that knows the person. That's why you need to be visible, your career, and your industry, and all of those things. I just send this email to Taiwo, to Seye, to Dipo. The same thing, I just sent their Taiwo to their Seye and other things. So I said, Taiwo, I've worked in the industry for 14 years. I'm practically reaching the peak of, as far as tax is concerned. I've reflected on my career and come to the conclusion that consulting will be the great place for me to continue working. I deploy my knowledge I've had over years. I hereby indicate my intention to join PwC as associate director. If PwC has a relevant opening that fits my profile, happy to talk to you and the recruitment team if an opportunity exists. I added my nickname, Jarus, even in the formal writing, because that my nickname was already becoming a brand itself. I did it, even in the formal writing. That was in London. Oh, sorry, I forgot this on my laptop. So that was in London when that email came, and he replied me to, hi Suraj, thank you for interest in joining PwC. I'm traveling at the moment. You can arrange to discuss your interest as soon as we both have the availability to discuss to do so. Taiwo replied me. Next week he came to Nigeria, he talked to Nigeria, said, and that's one thing at the top, when you're at the top, when you're visible at the top, the way you carry yourself also matters. At junior level, you cannot be talking to partner KPMG at PwC and be saying that, you want to, this email is like, at top level, the way you carry yourself also matters. No wala now. No, when I come to Nigeria, we talk. When he came to Nigeria, we reach out. One Friday, then we should have dinner in Twinswater, Lekki. Who knows Twinswater here? Don't tell me you don't know Twinswater. I can charge you. Stay away, I can charge you. I know they come out. Now they come out. Fine dining. Yeah. It's only that Asia that goes to fine dining. You guys don't go to fine dining. You guys are mainland people only. Yeah. So I went to that dinner in Twinswater. I sat down. Talked to me. He said, Suraj, I've known you for some time. I've known you. I know you are big on career advice. I know you're also very visible on industrial and those things. And one thing about consulting is that they always have an opening. They can always get anybody because about making money, right? Anybody that can make them making money, they can always create an opportunity to, for you to come. It's not like industry in which there is somebody has to go before another person has to come. It's just, it is anybody that make money. If you come, if your salary is 100 million, they know you can do, you make them 500 million. So they always create something for you. And I talked to him and I said, you know what? Suraj, thank you for your interest, blah, 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 blah. We spoke, we sat down, and just said, okay, you know what? But we'll not be able to give you actual director. Because actual director is next level before partner. And I said, because you don't have consulting experience. All my career, beginning of all my career, oil and gas, I did all this consulting thing. I don't have, because they cannot pay oil and gas money when you are young, when you were so in fact, my first interview with Wandu, the woman asked me, why didn't I go and start on KPMG? I just smiled. But in my mind, I don't know, like KPMG cannot pay me the money, Wandu will pay me. So I didn't answer, I just smiled and okay, I can learn this place too. So back to where I was. So I started sending that email to Taiwo. We had the meeting, we had the discussion. He now told me that the best can be the senior manager. Senior manager is third level, right? The level before director, that's the best you can do. If you think you can do it, then we can set up an interview for you. And let's talk to each other, we talk to one of those things. So we had an interview, we talked to them, we spoke, we did everything, and they gave me the offer. And I got the offer before the 3 months came, they gave me the offer. And I gave them to resume. I think May 16 or so in PwC as senior manager. They gave me an offer. The offer was still 50%, the only 50% of my salary in PwC. I saw in oil and gas. Despite the fact that I probably the highest paid senior manager. The offer they gave me was higher than every other senior manager because they knew that I was coming from oil and gas. Despite all of that, money was just 50% of my pay in the way I left. And I was the highest paid senior manager in PwC at that time. It was still like 50% of the money Tabaneva was paying me. But So, but when I was leaving, Savannah paid me. I accepted it. So when I now gave me my money in Savannah Energy, now I realized that no what I'm starting a new job in. The day I resumed, the day I resumed, I just there was a small drama the day I resumed because the day I was leaving because that woman did not want to pay me my money. My eyes changed to red, So but after some negotiation, they shall paid me the money and all of those things. So now I gave PwC 2 weeks after I left. I gave them 2 or 3 weeks. I just traveled to Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire. Make I just clear my head first. I just clear my head first. Just go beach for Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire. Just go relax me. Mude, I carry my family. Let's go to Abuja. I now resumed in PwC that day of resumption. Consulting right 50 days. So when they paid me that money, that exit pay in Savannah Energy, my house in Aja. What's in Landbasa? Who knows Landbasa here? Landbasa goes right. My personal house. The man that owns the house, that owns the land behind my house, the man that has been disturbing me for 2 years, saying that if you know anybody, I like you about the man has been disturbing for 2 years. And I said, so when I bought that, when they have money first, then when that Savannah I just set out my account. I just called the man, give me Saima, is that land still available? It's available. And I bought the land beside my house. I bought it. That was my first, I bought it. Then my house, because my house, I was very big on building houses. All this money from Savannah, I wasn't able to build house. I built my village, I built Lagos, I was just building house. So I had a tenant who is a sale of like civil engineering, my wife. Copper, young man, but he's a civil engineering. You people of these days, your height, what you guys know, sometimes, especially in business, we don't know. This guy was telling me, Copper, I was already doing real estate, doing, jama real estate. So he now told me that, okay, me, I was just because me, I'm very open. I can talk, me and my gate man can be chatting for 2 hours. Me, there's nobody that me, I cannot talk to. Me, I don't do all those class. So me and my copper, my wife, were just sitting, my copper tenant, we're just sitting in front of my house one day. I was working to WC, but it was work from home that day. So after all these meetings, we've had a lot of meetings. I start on my work, about to meeting to do this, so he wasn't able to sue me. And I came outside and was just asking my tenant, my wife, my wife, I like real estate. This real estate is opportunity one day. Just you don't need to even forget. I don't have billions I can use to start real estate. About the rally, about the 3G, about the market. I don't know what they're there. It's the money used to finish it. So these are these people who do it. That thing just caused my mother. What my wife telling me, civil engineering graduates, observing, but all of these things. Me that I've been working for 15 years, I've been doing like for 15 years. I don't know all of this. I don't know. You just still hear me. People will start paying deposits and just use the money to finish it and take your own profit and move on. So I don't need the billions to start, on all those things. So I shall call Mr. Emma that owns the land beside that I've been something 2 years. Mr. Emma, I want to buy that land. I bought the land. I paid for it for just 10 million naira. Paid for it. Call my architect immediately. And I'm very, very big on execution. If I want to do something like I move very, very fast. I move very, very fast. Within 3 days, with the pay, come the Penny Jarus home. My name is Jarus, right? People know me as Jarus, right? John. Jarus home. Say, is that available? So available, so for you available. So take out investment what way. That's my investment. I call my architect, but I know. Let's ever me. Say for I can tell you all those start all those have the record. All these have the record. But I knew architect offer. Money like ever me say mo the call for 11 so il 4 terrace. Ever me go say this thing said it's possible. That one went. Where did I call? I called, I tried all of those things before I knew it. Multi-berry business real estate too.
I remember the first tweet.
Exactly, I know that person most of the Tuesday, maybe before I knew that it's become business real estate. Mo ṣe Tuesday, mo ṣe àpariwo lórí títà pé design, but I'm sorry if I'm saying design, mo ti sáré post it, mo nílé láti tà. Before I knew it, someone deposited 10 million. Pé òun fẹ́ ra deposit pé like deposit for So is this what my wife told me is true. Land that I've not even finished the foundation, somebody has paid 10 million naira. So this thing is true. Let me show you the first email of the person that bought for me. All this I was still working for WCO because I wasn't sure the business. The business was just a side hustle because you cannot live known or known. Even though I'm earning half paid to WCO, half paid is better than none, Abi. Because if I blast all the money I collected from Sawan Energy, I will not start begging for job again. I beg this one is just side hustle. So all this one, we're going to say side hustle. So let me show you that that's very first sale I made in Jarus Homes. All this happened in 2022. Everything happened like within just a short period of time. So let me show you that. Okay, Jarus Homes. Then we are using Gmail at that time. We know this. Okay, I think it's this. Yeah. TJ Law, we go mine. TJ Law or something. Yeah. So the very first sale we did. The very first sale we did, for Jarus Homes. Okay. See, this was August 2nd. If you are following all those days, you realize that I quit PwC in July. Owó yẹn fún mi, mo sáré lọ fi ralẹ̀, mo sáré ṣe design, mo sáré post, I was just spamming everywhere online. MRI lọ́wọ́ mi for my place. So I named it White Garden because in business Nigeria people need fancy name. I realized that on that street, most people say their house white. My own personal house, they can study in White Street. They like something fancy. I just name it White Garden, even though there's no garden there. Everybody should name it White Garden. People like things that are fancy. So this one was talking to me. So I went back and forth, and he said something he made some adjustments to the offer. So when he wanted to pay, he sent me this. We went back and forth. See this email he sent me on 8th of August. Said, "Dear sir, we are ready to proceed with this transaction based on the reputation and trust we have in the brand name and the person behind this, Jarus. And it's a very big business for anybody. Please, your name is critical." My name got me job in PwC because of Taiwo knows me that boy is always, is good. Like it's always visible in tax, busy in all of those things. Again, somebody, the first customer I'm having in Jarus Home is patronizing because of the trust and reputation I had built over time. This is how life works. This was this guy's email, 8th of August 2022. I was just 1 month in Rwanda that time. I saw in the PwC for 2 months. Maybe it was side also that time. We are ready to proceed with this transaction based on the reputation and trust we have in this brand name, person behind this project. We however request that you kindly give us as one. No problem. I meant the offer. No problem. My adjustment and make back and forth. No problem. We undertake to make the necessary payment plan before close of work tomorrow or within 5 hours of the amended offer. That was how the first alert landed for my phone. Somebody has paid for a house that has not even done the foundation because of what? It is trust he had in me. That was the beginning of Jarus Home. Between this first transaction and today, we sold 70 houses. 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 70 houses. From that 10 million naira, by God's grace, 5 billion naira has been made on that business in 4 years. From that 10 million that this man deposited, the cash you had collected as is not of 4 billion. Of this 10 million naira, this very first within just 4 years. It's not even 4 years. It'll be 4 years next month, maybe next week. Then 22 August. So, but all of this time, I was still we didn't not work. I was still collecting my salary in PwC and doing PwC work. So I wasn't sure whether this one was going to be initial gagani. Before I knew it, within 4 months, I finished. I sold out all 4 units within 3 months. We don't foundation, so we had enough cash. I sold out all the 4 units. Similar trend. In fact, the people that bought it were similar things they were saying. Jubri, the guy that bought the second one, was saying that he saw my advert online, he saw what I was talking about online, and somebody in his mosque in Agege said, I know this guy, we finish in Ife together. Patronized him. The third guy that patronized me, Elizabeth Obode, that bought the third unit, was his boyfriend, they wanted to marry now. How did that one know me? That one knew me from the advert I used to give online. In fact, let me show you an email Elizabeth sent me in 2020 when I had not even started talking of real estate in my life. Just seeking for my career advice. You see, I'm talking to you guys now. You guys, many of you are farmers already. But if you guys are hammered in 5-7 years now, you probably will remember me and come and patronize my business. That's how life works. I'm telling you all of these things with no intention of marketing anything to send anything to you. But naturally, somebody you've met, at a time in which, they will remember you more. Relationship is very important in business. That's what carries business. Let me send you. So this was. Let me send you. Let me send you. Let me show you. Oh, this is that one. Would have got my personal email. So you always that my own. Let me show you something. Another one. I mean, okay. This is my personal email. Elizabeth Ogoda. I will look comment. Elizabeth Ogoda. Yeah, this is she. This was the first image she sent to me. Okay, I think she's contacting me on LinkedIn. Jarus up. Because that time Jarus up was the one that was on it. The career, it's not okay, that one doesn't have a kidney. That gets sent me an email 2020 just saying, oh, I've been following you online, I've been seeing what you are doing, I've been seeing what I've been doing, blah blah blah, please give me career advice. Please give me career advice, please give me career advice because I was I know you are very big on that. Yeah, 2020, COVID. That guy sent me an email, and I put my advice to her, like I would do to my sister. I think she finished from UI, petroleum engineering. She now got a job in Slum, and she was considering whether to go and do masters in Qatar or something. I should give my advice. 3 years later, when I started this. Because she had money, she had become, she was working on, so she can afford. I was saying for 20-something million. She and her boyfriend, who was working in NPC, they contributed, they started paying little by little. She also patronized me. So that was how I sold out the 4 units of house before I even finished foundation. All the 4 units were done, and we had enough cash that was able to complete it. What we now did was that we now went to use the money to buy another land. Pardon, not to buy another land. Buy another land. Quick one. We started the same process. We repeated it again. Get architect to do design. Started marketing down. We started buying that one too. Before you have 2 projects going on. From that one too. Move it to the 3rd project too. Buy land. Started developing before you need that. Within first year, I had like 3 or 4 projects ongoing. One was already completed. So by 1 year in PwC also all this has was a side also at that time. So by February 2023, you are following my story. Thank you. I like it. I mean, you are not just. I like when people follow. I mean, to make it quick, what is it for? What is it again? What is it? Okay, is it this? Is this right? Okay, fine. So I was running Jarus Homes and PwC in parallel for 1 year. 2022 to 2023. By February 2023, oh boy, when our turnover was close to 1 billion naira, turnover was like God the quarter bad. We realized PwC. When you guys were interviewing, when I was giving dinner, when me and I were having dinner, I was this company. I have oil and gas experience. You can do consulting. I will build your oil and gas department. Use all my experience in gas. I built things. I will use it to. I have long term. My goal is to when I become a partner and become but my side also was And I now start with that. Just after 9 months, I will tell you that I'm sorry. when you interviewed me last day, I was. But my side business, unfortunately, is doing very well, and I feel like I'm not able to concentrate more in this my job in PwC. Number one, number two, because of conflict of interest. I need my time to, to not be fair for me that I have a business, I'm running it, and I'm also, like this is I might not might affect my time to commitment to PwC to number two. Number three, I don't want to miss opportunity of those things. And number three, I was also limited. I didn't say tell me this, but it was also my own personal stuff. Like because I was working with PwC, there was something I cannot publicly say. There were limits to what, as a consultant, there are limits to what you can talk, you can say. I didn't have much freedom to promote my business as much as I go promoted it because of my affiliation to PwC. And I would, how many my loan, they free data. But so I told them the ones that are presenting all of those jobs, I'm sorry, I have to resign. I didn't expect, my career to be too short, to be so sort of those things. He was appointed, to be honest with you, but that was the gentleman, a very, very complete gentleman. He was appointed as Suraj, But my last day was now at 30th of June 2023. Guess what? August, he himself got appointed in government and left PwC.
Yeah.
August, that 2 months later, he himself that was appointed that me, I'm going. He also left. And not anybody Papa company, no. Sometimes you take some decision, your own personal decision as well. You also left. He that was, you thought you were here for a long time, all of those things, He himself, he got presidential fiscal committee, Kinika, tax reform, a chairman of the got that appointment. I also, he also left PwC. So sometimes, some decisions you take, in as much as you keep that, don't break boundaries, we don't bump bridges, all of those things. So that was how I now, quit PwC and paid Jarus Homes fully as my business. I now face it fully as my full business. We began to expand. Today, by God's grace, within 4 years, we have 15 projects. 7 have been completed. Lagos, we are now in Lagos, Abuja, Niger State, Kwara State. And we Kwara people, you go and do this, your mother will tell you, come and do something at home. We always have that connection to our, even some of social, even we don't make much money for me, but they all have it to have those things. So you have something to just, I'm not interested in politics, but some people do it because of later when they want to do politics, you can say you invested in your state. But so we now by God's grace we have footprint in 4 states in Nigeria. Some that started from me just calling, okay, that land you have been disturbing me beside my house, I can buy it now. That thing that started from that conversation with my corporate tenants, see how it blew. Sometimes, you never can tell where opportunities will come from your day-to-day interactions. In fact, I struggle more when I sit down to think about business. I struggle to develop ideas more than when it comes randomly. Like I'm just calling somebody, I'm just reading somebody something. So that was how I started Jarus Homes in short. That's how I started Jarus Homes. And to God be with my biggest company today, we're doing turnover of over $1 billion per month. So my company starts, so my business journey, Jarus Homes, this was a side also when I was just, how did this one start? Let me just tell about my other business journeys. But this one, how did Jarus Homes start? So, like I said, you remember that thing I talked about Mr. Yuni Yusuf when I went to visit, when he came to Ife and told us everything about job tests, how to pass job tests, how to pass interviews. The information I had, I realized that many people of my age, many graduates don't have that kind of information. Many students don't have that kind of information. I realized that I made a difference for me. And I vowed that everything I knew about jobs, I will say it to help other people like me or the younger ones that are coming. That was the genesis of me sharing information on job tests, on interviews, and all of those things because of what I knew that it made a difference in me. So, like I said, I'm more of an online person. Physical things like this get me bored, except it's very, very important. It gets me like this is my first time, maybe it's my second time in Milan this year, except when I'm going to the airport. I don't leave my house. I don't leave my except football. So I was I was sharing information on job tests. Oh, you have KPMG test. So I registered on the website called Nairaland. Who knows Nairaland? I registered on Nairaland in 2007, July 25. I was serving in Sokoto. I was bored. I was reading for my kind exam, but one of these days, after I got bored of reading, I would go to Cyber Cafe and just be seeing what is happening, all of those things. So I registered. When I registered, job test, any job test I wrote, or I would tell people about it. I made my own first class. I would tell people about it. Oh, you read, study, do this, do that, do that. All of those things I knew. I was only saying that experience and information. If I need. So Nagaland, even when I started working in Orlando 2008, same thing. I got my job in Orlando. The test I wrote, all the Vertiva, I got my test I wrote, how I did it, Kinikan. I was using my handle to be sharing information on Nagaland. Let me know that my own experience. People saw that it was resonating with them. Job in Soma makes sense. What the guy was saying was making sense. Any tip he gives on career, on education, on how to pass exam, on how to make first class, on how to do job tests, on what's happening KPMG, or anyone makes sense. He began to respect me. So as I was going my career in Orlando too, I was also talking about I wrote ICANN, I was also all of those things. But 2013, 6 years after I registered in Orlando, on Nagaland, I had become highly popular on Nagaland as one of the best authorities on careers and education. The guy that his opinion on careers spot on. For me, an owner of Nagaland, we used to fight. Who is the owner of Nagaland? They were sure. Me and him, we used to fight. We discussed what there. So me and him, so we realized that he used to fight of those. So, so we're not getting along. And I said, let me just go and start my own platform just for career, just to be sharing my own career. I don't have control over my Nagaland. I can give opinion, but I don't have control over it. So that was how I registered Jarus in 2013 as a blog. Initially as a blog. I was still working. I was working all this time. I was working. I worked in 2023, right? All these ones were just, things I was just doing by the side. My own private store, I was just doing by the side. So I started as a blog in 2013, March 17. But I didn't have intention of any making money, anything, making money, anything. But I used to go and read other American websites and blogs on career. I realized that those people, they used to have some side. After they write, 10 tips for passing interview, 10 tips for passing test. They will now say that if you want to pass interview, contact me. If you want to pass, and then they were making some services related to that information they were sharing, CV review, all of those things. And let me also introduce all of those things now. So I introduced it as my, something to that blog. That blog was essentially to be doing, to be sharing information for free. And I said, let's be doing some more services. So that was how we started Jarus up, and we had this premium service we used to do by the side. Later, we began to do some courses, back to Big Four, assessment center coaching, all of those, blah, blah, all of those things. 2015, 2 years after I started this, it was becoming my time. I was also growing in my career, and I didn't have much time for all of these things again. I now invited all of my friends, one of my friends on Ireland, that let's form a company. Let's just turn this thing from a blog to a company. We now registered the company called Jarus and Jan Limited. Jarus is my own name. Jan is my two other friends that Jacob Abukabir and Nachi. We registered the company and we turned it from a blog to we got an office just down the road there, Yabaye. Just down the road in 2015. Now you realize that I guess it's more of the security now. When people come for interview, coach them for interview, we training, all those small things. I use it for side to our blog. Me, I didn't have time. But Kabi was doing it full time. Everybody was using my own brand. That was our first enterprise. It's not a big money making company. I mean, maybe 3 million, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 million in a year, but it's not something big. But so that was my first attempt at business, and it's still existing today. 13 years old now. But this wasn't the reason I can't leave this one. I can't use it because of this resign my oil and gas job because my 1 month salary is more than all the 10 years we make in this one. So this one wasn't enough for me to resign. But that was my first attempt at something. It still exists. My partner wants it full time now. I have an office just down the road. I go there maybe once in a year. I've not even been there this year. So, I mean, but that was my very first journey. 2015, I tried the barbing salon. On the co-worker, you need to work. You never know. The real estate I started too. The real estate I started that is now my main kidney. And did I know it was going to become that? You just be jama. This one talk, this one no talk. I like to because of the brand I had established, I like to use my name for all my brands, almost all my brands. So I started beside my house in at that time. I got a shop. I call it Jarus Yahoo. I like to I like all those fancy. Instead of something barber shop, I just Jarus Yahoo. This one carpenter know this barber side. Then we call it Yahoo. The barber thing is barber, so it's another thing. But so I opened this one. I opened this one as my another side in 2015. I put somebody there. The guy I put there was the one that was competent. When I was competent, I knows how to barb very well. Yeah, I was still going to work. I used to go to work Monday to Friday. Go to work. When my wife had the shop near it anyway. My shop is just like next to this. That time. The barber that knows how to do job, in that place, that one will barb and will not give us money. The competent one was my goals. The money was just, was not missing. That she started after a few months. We had another guy. That one is very honest, integrity, yeah, customers are always trading flow. Now I have to take fight every day. I will manifest the fight. Over me again, change money over me again, talk over me again. So I beg this business. After 1 year, I don't do it again. I beg, and I'm tired of setting fights. The one that knows how to barb, the one that has competence does not have integrity. The one that has integrity is not competent. And really, I don't think I have time for all of this nonsense. I close it. So this is my only business that has paid. Really, after 1 year, I just sold it and carry chair back to my house. Tell the landlord I'm not doing it again. Collect your shop. That was how my second business. So this is Jarus Home, the third business. Of course, this is the one that is biggest, and this is the one we are, by my company. That land I thought this was my house. So this was my house at that time. 2020, I built this house in 2015 and all of that. I built this house. So this was the house. So the man that owned this land, Mr. Emma, was the one I said I called in 2022 and said, Mr. Emma, he said he wanted to build it. He wanted to sell it. Oh yeah, now. We transfer 10 million. See. And if I bought this land and I built this house there, this land was in it. And I sold it for you before I called the White Street Garden. I told you it's White Street, white. All the houses there were, that street. My own is white. The one before you, I just used the fancy name, White Street. So that was my third business. That was my third business, Jarus Homes. I told you the story, right? So I bought this land behind my house, built this thing there. People pay before I even finish foundation. So this is my third business that I did. I mean, fourth business that I'm doing, and that's my biggest. So Focus Consulting and Jarus Travel. So let me tell you the two story of this other one. So Focus Consulting, how that one start? So when I was leaving oil and gas when I was on PwC in 2023, I realized that I spent 15 years in oil and gas and consulting. I know a lot about energy sector. I know a lot about tax. I know a lot about consulting, about fiscal policy, about petroleum policy, about energy policy. I know something about ESG because ESG was, I did ESG PwC. And but I don't follow me. I will not be using them for real estate. Real estate is just to fight on money. No plenty grammar, no need for all of those, just settle all of those land matter, all of those trade buy and selling. That all the things I learned while working in, all the things I learned while working in all these companies, all the things I learned while working in all these companies that is in my head, I will not use them. I will not use most of them for this real estate. So and I say no, let me go and set up a consulting to just be getting some work, some jobs that can make me to use that knowledge. That's why I gave it the name Focus Consulting. So So this photo consulting was set up as a way to just stay in touch with my industry, with my profession, with my, my training, with my experience. Because I know that real estate will not, real estate is, this one has more intellectual, real estate does not have much intellectual, even if you are an illiterate. Just trade, just buy and sell, do the buy, can build, handle the contractors, handle everything, But these ones, we speak when you go on TV, you do all of those paparazzi, consulting, all of those things. I mean, you don't get more jobs, but you have this. So that was my fourth company. That was started in 2023 when I was left the office. Jarus Travels, this is my another company. That one is also active. How did I start this? So how did I start this? What gave me the idea to start Jarus Travels? So in 2000, so immediately I left the office in 2023. One of the things I did was now I'm on my own. Like I'm on my own and I want to travel a lot. Like I want to travel. I've been to like more than 30 countries. Now I want to like explore, like even when I started traveling before, but even when I was working, but I used to travel a lot. I can travel like 5, 6, 7 countries in a year. And I realized that booking, let me get someone to be helping me to be doing all my booking, all my flight booking, all my visa, all of those things. And I tweeted in 2023 that I needed a personal travel consultant, someone that knows about what's the name? Someone that knows about travel processes, about visa, about flights, about all of those things. One guy applied. This guy applied, and I was interviewing her on phone. When she was talking, this one knows a lot about travels, activities. Something that came to my mind that what if I set up a travel company and I make this guy the manager? No bad though. That what this guy knows goes beyond a minute. Like this one goes beyond just helping me to. So all these guys knows this thing. I told her something that what if I set up, a travel company and I make you the manager? All these things you are telling me you can do. I mean, I have the platform, I have the resources, I have the network. You have the knowledge and all of those things, But it's one thing to say something, another thing to be able to do it, right? So, of course, I wasn't going to set up a company, so I employed her as my executive assistant. I didn't even employ her as personal travel consultant again because I know what can do goes beyond that. So, become my executive assistant, someone that can help me to plan my programs, not just my travels. Very smart girl. She's from Milan and she works from Milan. So, she now did that one for 6 months. I just want to see whether it's one thing to talk. Like, so for 6 months, she was very, very good. Managed my travels seamlessly. In January 2024, I now registered a company called Jarus Travels, and I made her the manager. Where the idea came from? The idea came from me interviewing her. I realized, I can take up the company and make her the manager, increase her salary, and became this. 6 months later, she got a better job, which is fine. I don't have any problem with my staff progressing. She left. And somebody else, is the manager of that business now. But the business is existing to that, like 50, 60, 70 million in a year. Not that. So this is how the story of this other business comes. So these are the things I've done, over time, my transition from school, to my transition from school to industry, from industry to business, all of these things. And all of them sort of work together. All of them work together. In fact, many people that patronize, I think I've sold 70 houses, right? Some of the people that bought houses for me were my former colleagues in my workplace. Some of them were people we met in industry meetings. Some of them were people, who sought my advice from Jarus or, so that's how things work. People you meet in different places, they do things for you. Right? So this is one of the things you need to know. So what are the issues you need to know for you guys now? Lessons for you guys. For those of you who are still doing it to fight career and you are considering moving to business, right? While you are doing that 9 to 5, how do you distinguish yourself? That will benefit you yourself. Number one, know about your company's business. Some people's attitude to work is just gota. I'm just an accountant to just open my laptop. Then I'm going, please know about the company's business. One of the things that helped me in my career was I knew like I was not an accountant, so if I'm speaking like this, probably think I was an initial geologist or or in fact, the reason I was made head of supply chain 2022 by my CEO, that was because he knew that this guy knew so much about the industry. That's why be an accountant. So know about your business, know about your company business, it helps. Make a difference to you. Don't say I'm just an accountant, I'm just a tax person, I'm just an engineer. Know about your company's business very well. Know about and beyond your industry. Know about your industry. What are your competitors? Who are the big players? What are they doing? What is happening? What are the know about your industry very well. Very important. Industry are playing, financial services, tax, no about your industry. So my visibility my industry that made people like that we did it about 30 years ago. Okay. Business is not necessarily before. Don't say my own job. The customer you meet, you will talk about the cost of the work. You never can tell you guys everything. So the expensive of to them, you know that network of people. You never can tell your customer to put off. Only thing like defining opportunity in the future. Be your network as you are going. Share knowledge and train others. When you do your network, share knowledge and train others. I used to volunteer to share knowledge when I was 95. Oh, there's not what is no problem. Now let me use the opportunity to teach my colleagues. So there is this new regulation. Let me go and read it and teach them. I didn't need for the new government law. Let me talk to them. So I was always the guy that was always sharing knowledge and information. And that's what even outside my 95, so I used to share knowledge. And I always helped me a lot. I thought I would share knowledge. And what I was sharing knowledge is that it also helps you to even deepen your own knowledge. What you taught somebody, you don't forget. Right? Save and invest is never important. I mean, that goes without saying. Common pitfall of people in 95, that common pitfall is that when people become too comfortable and they don't do anything again. They don't just, I mean, I'm collecting salary, I'm fine, I'm collecting. They won't develop themselves, they won't do anything. That's a very big pitfall. When don't be too comfortable instead of not developing yourself. Now, going back to say, if you want to leave your 9 to 5 and you want to go into business or something, just to consider. Generating business ideas, be generating business ideas. See the way my own came. Like, I was just talking to my colleague, I mean, real estate. But the market, I mean, my son, people start paying, and you know all of those things. After the first idea came. The travel company, I was traveling somebody, she knew about travels and about them. So sometimes you have that the notion of I need to identify opportunities and ideas. That's also very important. Transition, how do you want to transition? Do you want to leave immediately, or you want to first want the two of them in parallel, then leave? Me, I did parallel. Right now, I did 1 year working with WC at the same time, doing all my real estate business before I now fully because you did real estate page and then I started the job. So tell the family it's not going to be easy. Not going to be easy, my brother. If you move to business, you have to think about it that in next 5, your salary is guaranteed. This one, nobody patronizes you, no money. So the 500,000 you used to give your wife every month. I used to be able to continue if your salary is if you are no longer any salary and you have to end of business. If you don't make anything in 3 months or you don't make anything. So you have to think about that. Maybe that's standard of family. When you want to transition from 95 to like you be able to sustain that lifestyle. Your fiancé be able to attend that school and pay 2 million naira per month per term for. You have to think about all of that. Time to resign. What was the best time to resign? What was the best time to resign? Okay? So that you want to retire, you want to resign abruptly, you want to do this, you want to have some network. Okay? Best time to resign. Common pitfall that you make at this stage is that conflict of interest. Some people will be doing something that job does not permit. You have to think about that. When you are running something parallel with your next time job, you have to make sure that it doesn't complete. And you have to give your time to your company. Because you are still that contract in that company. You have an obligation to give them your time. You cannot be on your own business during office time and say you want to collect salary. You have to sit down with all of those things during your transition stage. Finally, general tips. You know, if you start your business, all of those things. I mean, I've shared this email before. The first email of how I got my first client. So, general tips for business in general. General tips for business in general. Study others, look at what others are doing. So I spend a whole lot of my time on Instagram watching other executives, other business leaders. There are some things that are dedicated to just sharing, business information. Study others doing what you are doing or what you want to do. Seek advice. Nobody knows it all. Nobody knows it all. Bounce ideas from people. Seek advice and seek advice. The young man that advised on real estate was just, I had some experience when I was experience. It was a company that did not have experience that's damaging real estate. You've been building before you did. And I've been, it's not like I have 5 houses. 2020, I was calling Lofa. I was calling Lego. Like I had small houses of 5, like small. There are no big houses. But I never thought of that commercial. I want to build that way. That idea to build, develop, and sell was given to me by a couple. I was 40 years old in 2022. Couple was probably just 21 of the people that are given that time. See that you never can know who is going to market aggressively. My brother, carry your business for you. Don't be shy. Today, I was even to treat my business. Every day I'm always doing it because I know that no job for this man. So market aggressive. Don't let anybody. There's no big boy, There's no big boy in business, because hunger never catch you. And because someone always catch people to say anything. So market aggressive. Use market aggressive. I'm not going to be spamming everywhere with market aggressive. Carry your business for it. Family and friends market. Don't joke with family and friends market. Most times in business, the people that trust you more are people that have known you for long. Don't joke with family and friends that have known you for long. Family and friends have known you more than any other person. Most strangers patronize you. Most times, they are people that best patronize you. So don't, joke with family and friends market, especially when you first start. Right? Integrity, what's your finances? Don't go and upgrade your lifestyle and say, Utiyama, I don't arrive. I will not be spending business money on it. What's your finances? Make sure you also invest, diversify. Or that the finance experts can guide you guys on all of that. Everything is everything. Everything is everything. Alhamdulillah, all the 70 years I've been active. Nobody has ever said I took them or we had an agreement or some financial. Nobody has ever bought a single financial response for me. So I did start. That's one of the most slippery things you can do. I did that for 40 years of my career. Nobody ever said I bribed them or I did everything or I did it, I collected money or company money I used to do all of those things. Integrity is everything. When people know for integrity, they patronize you, tell you, this opportunity, they remember you when opportunities come. Almost every week, there's someone that's calling me that Jarus, opportunity, wow, really can buy wow, there is somebody wants to do. I mean, most of them are ignorant because most of them they're not viable to me. But there's always that recommendation because of what integrity is everything in business. Please guide it jealously. Social media is powerful. Yes, I've said that you can do a lot of social media, but people are just private. They're just, just don't want to do it. It's fine. You can find a way around it too. But if you know it's your strength, most of what I built from social media. I know there's not everybody that have that kind of exposure, kind of but fine. But if you don't want to do it, probably have to spend some money to achieve something similar, maybe from advertising spend, or using people of the. For me, social media even helped me to build all of this. Most of my patronage people, what they come to teach? Old friends, the friends of secondary school, of university. How many projects of I'm doing? The person that attended, the person of my classmate that I had, we didn't even used to talk. When we were secondary school, she was on that post one of the houses. Old network, campus, and people that said, I have to go to school at university. You know, those people are also cool because they don't keep it just all of them. I'm sure that you have a lot of people. Collaborate. Collaboration is good. There's no island of, there's no island of knowledge. No matter what you know, there will be someone that knows something or someone that has something. Collaborate. Collaboration is very important. Collaborate, with your people, with your friends, all of those things. Effort is necessary. If you are trying something that is not working, please, there's no harm in, trying something else. Or you realize that there is competition of effort if necessary. People that have a relationship company as the biggest company. See other things I'm doing by the side. Because I have Jarus Cables for I have Jarus Consulting, I have all of those ones to be over. Because we never can tell which one is God forbid anything happening to Jarus Homes now. I know I have Jarus Cables by that. Even though that one is just 5% of the value of Jarus and so on. It's just huge. I have a couple of things I'm also so that's how business works. From time to time, you just keep trying. Don't stay long and think that thank you so much.
Thank you. Inshallah. Wow. Thank you once again. Wow, it's been an amazing 1.5 hour session. Listening to Jarus. I mean, literally everything you needed to know to have an amazing career, not just career, to also build a business. I promised you this is an opportunity to learn how to build your career from 0 to 1. And literally, that's what he has done. He literally took us from 0, right? He literally took us from 0 to 1. How he did it career-wise, how he did it business-wise. To be honest, I don't think anybody should have problem figuring out what you want to do at this point, right? So now that he's still here, perhaps we might have 1 or 2 questions to ask. This is an opportunity to do so. So the questions for Jarus? You don't raise your hand now, we won't call you again. So if you have questions, okay. So let me start from the sister side. You want to hold for now? Okay.
So should I talk without you?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Sorry, I come to that. Yeah, that's a lot of for the section so far. We have sheets. So my question is okay. So the initial question I have before you read out of that, let's answer how do you navigate from because I checked your LinkedIn profile. I saw policy, transition, ESG, energy. But like how do you transition for each of them and if you are being able to to do them and you are an expert in it? But from the lecture, at least I got some insights on how you're able to do that. But I really want more maybe a bit of explanation on and another one thing that how do you manage your timing to be an expert in what you do? Because there's a lot to do. But for me now, I'll be like, okay, this is what
I don't.
no, not yes, sir. Sorry. So like okay, I want to do this. Like I'll do it for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So whatever you're just leaving it. Actually, what is not my core work I do in the office or something, I'll leave it. So like how do you manage that time? How do you remain consistent in doing some extra things that you actually want to be good at? Then another thing I want to explain more is that how do you transition more in terms of transition and ESG? Like how do you be able to manage and
context, he works at UI on that. Providing context so that you can.
Yes, and I love that ESG part because a lot of reading in ESG that it really makes people and sometimes I pick things, I'll just keep it, I don't do this. So how are you able to manage both of them? be an expert in building. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Let me start on time management, all of those things. To be honest with you, it's not everybody that will be like me. That's not how life works. I mean, most of those things are interest. In fact, my career is more of I'm a chartered accountant, right? And that's the list of my interest. So that was what, like, I'm a chartered accountant, but that's the list of my interest. So, it doesn't come to you, if you don't need it, number one, you don't need it. Number one, you don't need all those things I said I have or I said I do to do well in life. You don't need all of those. Number one, you don't need it. Number two, so it's just choose, number one, things that your primary work, if you do primarily, you're a tax person, right? You primarily try to be good in all of those. Number two, things that you think you have some passion or interest in. You have passion for public policy. I've always been public policy when I was in primary secondary school. So all those when they found government policy, government wants to pass a law, but government doesn't have. I'm always, participating in the debate. They should do this, they should do that. I'm in the debate. Tax reforms. I'm always debating with people. How it does not have agenda. That was agenda. All of those matters. So those things come naturally. So public policy matters come naturally to be stopped off. So you don't even bother with come naturally. So number two, fiscal policy is just a fancy word for tax. This one is just a fancy word for tax and related. All these things we do on anything just to Google all those things are just account and G. It's not that we'll be doing, you can call it fiscal policy, just no tax policy or those things, what's happening, tax or those things. Let's of what my business. ESG, I'm not talking about ESG. So all of these things I think I have. Don't forget me, I have I've been in Thailand for 25 years. Right? When did you finish NYSC? Okay, let's do 9 years ago. When did you start working? So so you are not all this are not you 10 years ago when I probably your level. You won't see anything in my profile. You won't see anything in my profile. You won't see some of this in my profile. If I look at my profile in 2026, I did not build, the best I was 10 years ago, I was an accountant, or maybe I wouldn't call myself a public service or something. So, so it takes time to build all those expertise, all those interests, all those work, like work in different places, I've got all those things. So you don't be overwhelmed with all those things on my LinkedIn. I didn't put them, so little by little, your company can post you to another department. Come and expert in that one too. So all these things you are doing, 20 years time, you can list them as your areas of competence or areas of that's how it works. That's how it works. Let me tell you that. So on here, on time management, something has to give. Something has to give. For example, like I said, I don't attend to event, I don't go to party, I don't go to if you are attending for a wedding, except you are very, very, so it's caught some of my physical social activities because of the need to be logged in some of these things. Right? So time management also did, most of those things are also that's like I can read from my phone too. Any topic I want to get, I can read from my phone, I can be on my bed and be reading something on all. My time management works another. The only thing I find is the knowledge scholar that takes me out of my bed sometimes. So reading is very important, contributing is very important, and for the exam, I can't already. So that's how to comment on those things. It's not something to. So at some point that you are going your career, you have more time. You can delegate stuff. As you are going your career, right? So that's how things work. Then let me now go to ELT. ELT is very, very the sweet feed. Very, very sweet. And that's because the one is going towards people did climate change, all those things. All of those things make people want to be socially, environmentally responsible, right? And that's one of the things. But here, it's not make much money for Big Four. You don't make money like that traditional, most traditional audit staff and all of those. So that don't make them make money. So that's why I was in PwC. I think at PwC for one. I was the second top most person in tax because just like that I was there. Only what's the name of this one? What I mean was my boss. I was just reading, always reading. And the good thing about people is that You guys have resources. You can go to your internal meeting, you have resources. Just be reading all of those things. Not many people are already expert in this thing. So be reading, because put it to me, before you know you become an expert in it. And little by little, you see yourself being an expert in it. So yes, that's how it works. So if you see a field that is big, imagine. Read about it, see all of those things, and talk in meetings, contribute what you do, and before you know it, you see yourself as an expert in it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, that's all. Yeah, example of kind of the slide that I mean, not
No, it's okay.
I was here.
It's coming from my own. I don't know about 5 million. Just let me get it back. Search 5 million. Use for us for you to about.
So I mean, we learned from it. So from our business session here was when startup to labs and we about to transition. So during those periods, like a days of education, so now we transited into another. It's still the same transportation and mobility industry, but now we are building like a open transportation service. Yeah. So it has not moved, it has like it is moving and generated liquidation and all this stuff. But we are not at that stage where we like because maybe let us get all the knowledge in terms of all these people and we have to start having unions of who are and like the industry, who like you are working in industries and that's condition of life because once we discover is if you want to start as we are working for the transportation, we still be causing parts with the likes of the Lamata guys, any out W guys and all of these guys and where we can get safety net is and with the connection with them that just keep this on, then we talk to this one and like so mentorship parts and you doing business or first aid and everything. How did this go?
How do you navigate it?
Yeah.
Okay, so first and foremost, yes, doing business in Nigeria, you need a lot of, you need the informal, even not actors, former actors and informal actors. Former actors and informal actors, former actors of regulatory agents and informal actors. You are building, somebody is coming, every project I did in language, I need to be over that community. 5 million. I had to pay money our community, 201 million. And so all of those things, and sometimes you have this prioritize. As you want to be beyond, all those nuisance values, you want to make it, slow you down. Sometimes you just use money to just, change it away or something. Maybe because you guys are so because you have the whole around probably different because I have the pool of funds to work with all of those. You guys are probably savvy, they are limited with apparel. But at times you wish to just solve them with money. But in instance, I mean, have to take over me, just pay some negotiation. So negotiation is very, very important. Negotiation is very, very important business. At times you wish also at times you wish speak to, but at times you wish teaching. All those things, negotiation, all of those things, you present yourself. The way sometimes even dress, it's I'm going to it's something like that which I regret and like I'm even happy with myself. Just to speak that. So navigating all of those things involve there's some result with money, there's some result with just relationship, and you say like we said it's corporate. So if you have somebody that knows how to sometimes like even use consultants, there are people that their own work is to navigate all those places, all those regulators, all those things, you can use them. These are my advice to you. And in terms of mentors, I mean, at times they also needed to call somebody who goes to the government, to call this call all of those things. So all those things bother that relationship too. It's about that relationship. So if you are busy, people, if you what you are doing, people are knowing about it. Sometimes people want to share with you. Sometimes you just mentioning your name, your brand name, and make people to say, yeah, you are the guy that is in charge of this corporate and all of those things. That's my advice to you. Just stakeholder management. I think you probably could read one or two things about stakeholder management. That can help you. Thank you.
Last one, please. Last one. So yes, sir. So now we are actually at our collaboration level.
Yeah.
We started talking to postal bosses, air bosses, and all these guys that hold things. So if you run Jarus travels, we are still members of collaboration.
I don't understand my number, but that would come with two more like more flight and visa. I mean, not we don't have cars that move around. We don't have just flight booking, flights, visa and all of those things. We don't have on ground. We still have a car, but it didn't work at all. So we just send it. Okay,
Thank you very much for being session. It was very nice. So, as somebody that studied agricultural economics, coupled with it's a 5-year course at the everything, coupled with the COVID year, the actual strikes, we ended up spending say 4 to 7, 8 years. So I started my icon journey within that period and personal level. So as somebody that wants to transition into Islamic finance, I am taking practical steps to from upskilling. I'm trying to source for internships and stuff, but I have realized that in the long run, these organizations, I don't know, maybe it's the experience. Plus, I finished my NYC last year, so where I started my PK, it's an importing company, they import glass accessories, but their accounting system has been traditional, so I've been building and building and trying to incorporate new accounting systems and accounting software. So I feel like that's it's an experience of a good standard. But it's been very, very difficult. Coupled with the fact that the graduate training roles, they usually have restrictions for age and stuff. And looking at the certifications that major certifications in South Canada, I would have to take to get it's going to have to the number of time and have to do to apply for this stuff. And I feel like it's a window that might be.
So I will let Madam Dikulaya is CFO, because the CFO is more finance than me. And so I will allow him to answer that.
Okay, so sorry, I have
but before that, sometimes it's good to say this is what I want to become, this one, but sometimes probably need to expand your portfolio too. Right? So sometimes you work from the broad to the narrow. So you gather experience there because most times Islamic finance opens. I want to believe that the people that have broad finance, but they're not specialized and all of those things. So sometimes, at the beginning, narrowing down can be a little bit challenging because they want people with experience. They don't want people that they have to be taught. It's one thing about the certificate, another thing to know how to apply it immediately. So sometimes they might want people that have experience in broad finance or something, but that's why opportunities can be a little bit difficult. But I'm sure when the answers it can help you. But I just want to give you that insight. But what's the second one? If you go back to it, what's the second one?
Starting a fish outside. I have a couple of points. I've read a lot of books on how to transition to that side of it.
Yeah.
It's my cultural economics. So I'm at the point where I'm trying to do my market research.
Yeah.
And I found out that it's very easy to research. Advice people, it's very easy to get into theory. I try to write an answer from your wealth of market, your business ideas and development, but you already have a brand name, you have to be attached to it. People will buy based on what's of
I agree. Because me, I had a brand name, before I even started in the business. So that I was just plugging my business into the brand, and everybody was looking from Jarus now. Anything from Jarus, I agree. So, number two. So, two things. Number one, you have to spend your way to it. You have the resources. You have to spend your ways to it. Like adverts, social media, digital adverts, all of those things. Probably you play that thing, better to shout all of those things. Number three, like I said, explore. Sometimes very big thing that sometimes there's markets. Sometimes you probably tend to focus on the broader wider market, the people in your neighborhood, your community, your old school friends, your family, Auntie Shade, I think more than the family you put you have some so sometimes some of those informal relationships can also help when you don't have that kind of network, that level that some of us have built over time one of those. So you probably keep exploring all of those informal relationships, all of those things, then you probably pay yourself or get one of those people that can do online stuff with this Instagram. People are making a whole lot of money on Instagram this thing. We don't sleep on informal markets, family and friends markets, old school friends. So sometimes that can also patronize the other person. Little by little, you get their trust, they refer you, and that person, before you know you continue to build that kind of that's what I think we can do. That's the kind of brand some of us had or even that they do it. Islamic finance, you want to think?
I mean, I think I take your point on the need for her not to narrow our way too early, right? If you're currently working in a place where you are helping them to build, you are trying to build experience in accounting, focus on that. Be stable around that. You can always divest into Islamic finance, maybe if you have opportunity to work in an Islamic finance entity, then it becomes easier for you. You don't build competencies in, and then you are then looking for where to practice it again. Build on where you are. For a good reason, I wrote second volume of this book, and the first chapter there is about how to build finance organization in a new company. I'll send you a chapter one just to support you, right? So try to be stable with one before divesting into Islamic finance. If by chance you're able to work with a Marble Capital or a Trust Bank where they have Islamic finance section, where it's easier for you. By the time you are then learning the topics, you can easily make sense of it because it's your day-to-day, right? So until that opportunity comes, build on what you currently have. Be good at it. Never can tell. You might end up becoming CFO and then realize that maybe I don't need anything about Islamic finance. I was in your position too. While we were in school, a lecturer taught us about Islamic finance. He literally incorporated it into our syllabus. And I developed so much interest in it that, man, I want to do this. But over time, I realized that maybe I don't need it after. So sometimes fantasy is different from reality. So we focus on what you're currently doing, build on it. You might just blow out of it and realize that, okay, maybe that's not what I need. Over time, you can still sponsor people into it. At the end of the day, you want to see it grow. That's why you have interest in it. So if you can have other people build on it, you understand? Yeah. So that's my advice. Okay, so remind me, I'll send you the chapter. So who is the next person?
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So my question will just come from one of your so I've known you for a very long time. I think I even write it down. So when you were saying about that, because that was the exact time that I got to know Jarus. So my question is just coming from your Jarus travel. So I wanted to ask if it was to be like, the guy approach you like, okay, since you really wanted to, I wanted you to this. How about sponsor or like putting the money down, like get to the operations of the company and then give you some percentage? What would have been a considerable percentage to share?
Like she said, she wanted to start the business.
Like you wanted them to partner you, right? Like to come as you wanted.
So I wanted to give.
So I'm saying like for you really not really like the day-to-day activity.
I don't.
So like
I don't know
if she was to approach you, like okay, how about you founding this business? Okay. So the operational thing, like salary and some other things that are needed.
Yeah.
What would have been a considerable percentage share that we have?
There's no fixed rate for, it's more of a negotiation, more of responsibilities and valuation. So, I mean, there is no fixed, there's no standard amount of ratio, for people going to business to share. It's about how much am I bringing, how much cash am I giving, am I bringing capital, how much responsibility am I taking, how much what's the name, sweat equity am I putting into it, right? So, for example, me, let's say, I employed her as staff, so put her on salary, so that one didn't move. But let's say she said, okay, you know what, let's make it the partnership out of those things. So what would have determined is that, number one, I was going to be the one to finance the whole company registration, setting up the business finance, right? Number two, you are leveraging on my branch. You're going to use that Jarus brand is something that many people personalize because it's Jarus there, right? So you have to value that set is worth a whole lot of money. Like you are using my name. My name is what is making personalize there, right? That's another who is invisible, not cash. You have to value it and this is another thing. Yeah, what you are bringing your expertise. So I bring this job, people patronize because of me, now do all the operations part of this. So I do not think you probably should be responsible for what I'm saying at the end of that, because I bring the cash, I bring the brand name and all of this, but there are no standard sharing ratios for businesses after it's just based on responsibility and capital contribution and sweat equity for all of those things. I can't give it. What I just described now, I don't think she would have got more than 20 because that kind of thing. So I'm bringing money, I'm bringing the brand name, of course, I'm also bringing the TV, all of this. So that's why it normally works. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir, for that reception. So, starting from a quote Mr. Simply said, I'm going to talk about. So he said, fantasy different from reality.
Yeah.
So it brings up my own question. My fantasy is majorly on economics. I love economics enough. Like right from secondary school, I love economics enough. But my reality now is I'm about to graduate from biology education. So, like, what kind of advice would you give to me? Like, my undergraduate study is biology education, and that is education is the least of my interests. And why is it the least of my interests? Because I've gotten a lot of discouragements, even in Nigeria too.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people be like, education is not, and yes, and I'm thinking of doing masters in that. But would you advise, and my interest is economics, would you advise that I leverage on my undergraduate studies or start to build up my interest in economics? Because I've actually the list of experience I've had in economics just from my secondary school teacher, because he built that love for economics. And I've also had few sections talking about it, and this is also included.
Yeah.
So is it that I should go for MSc in my undergrad or start to build?
Well, I mean, I also was very, very keen on economics when I was in secondary school. Even on the best students, I was very good. Because I understood it made sense. It made sense. You know that demand and supply made sense for me. I know that there are many people selling akara in this, on this street. That's a whole lot of supply. And there are few people buying it. They report to reduce the price because all of them are competing for the market. A lot of say akara shop on this street, but people aren't buying. So that's supply greater than demand. Price will come down, excess supply. And I know that there's only one akara supplier on the entire street, supply. But if everybody on the street wants to akara, the one will be increasing the price because of competition of those things, excess demand. So economics makes sense made sense to me more. After I like economics, I went to study in university. I got the first class in it. I hated accounting. I didn't like accounting. I didn't like it. It was boring to me. Too rule-based. You have to do that. I didn't like it. During my service, I thought, you know what? Let me write I can, because that was the only thing I could do. I wrote I can. I forced myself to read it, to do it, and I was doing it. I passed it, and I got it. And my first job after I happened to be an accounting job. So my fantasy was economics. I even studied in school, did everything. But accounting was the reality. But then I got me the job, and I did what I needed to do to make it. And that was what I was paying on. So sometimes what you have to invest in and you find yourself is different from what will eventually be your reality. And I find myself doing like chartered accountant, FCA to the other. But I did it because I needed to do it, and you do it. So in your own case, you did study economics in school, made it a little bit more complicated. So the education is your reality. To be honest with you, going back to economics at this stage will be very, very tough. To be honest with you, make it kind of number one. So I would not advise you. It's not much prospect for you, for anyone, for much especially that not studied. So I want advise you to go back to it. You can have interest in it, you can be talking about it, you can be reading it, you can be so as your own passion, as your own stuff. But to set up as a career, I think it's going to be very quite tough. You will good at study, so I won't advise it. Then the education field I talked about, yes, education I know that it has to demand too. Go and do masters in it. To what end is the matter? What do you want to do? What do you need it for? What do you need it for? Just really because So why are you not? So my answer is neither. Neither is my answer to your question. What are the other things you think you can do that that can probably make your life better? Things you are good at, or things you are even not necessarily good at as you speak at the moment, but can help you if you study of something. And these are the kind of things you should be looking at now. Not because when you like economics in secondary school, you are now talking about it now, or want to diversity it, or because you saw education, I think you probably should finding none of the above is to answer your question. So find things you want to go into business, you want to go into you want to work in something, you want to write that can and become an accountant, become an accountant, or you want to go down has more opportunities. What that education people doesn't matter. Even you saw the education as much as you're a kind of something like security or this. So I think that they have to be looking at business or some skills. So I think that things you should be looking at for at the moment, not economics that even people that studied it are leaving it for something else. Or education that except you want to specialize in that, you want to go the professional educator.
Maybe you want to own a school.
Want to go to school, the VP in the school, you want to we want to set the thing that you can now go and get your master, start finding the job with education. But going back to because you like the government school, I don't think it's a good thing for you to do at the moment. Thank you.
There's a question here. I think it was sent online. Thank you very much, sir, for this packed and insightful session. You are truly an inspiration. My question is drawn from your comments. Know your organization's business. I work as a sustainability coordinator in a processing company. I understand the business very well, and I sometimes spot gaps where I could offer support as an independent service provider, maybe using my business name. My concern is around conflict of interest. What would you advise is the best way to approach this?
I mean, it's a little bit risky if you are, if you work for an organization or you now set up a company, to now provide a solution to a problem of the same company you are all of that. Like you're circumventing, they not pay you, depending on the routine. That can actually be, many of them do not take it like it's either why would that organization, you speak with people that are doing that, guys, we have this problem, what can we do to ease out of those things? And or you resign and go and be a consultant and be providing service to them from outside. Right? But while still being there, don't set up a business name and be helping them to solve their problem from outside and collecting money from people. It will be, it's no, I don't say no organization will accept that. I moved to my staff anyway, it's managed by not by the star guy. Not that the guy is just managed, some of my staff in that so I mean, so as far as you're in that company, if you want to help them, know them, do it from within. Help them from within. But what to do from outside, design and go and come and do it from outside with your things, also up to them. But be from within, going to set up a company outside and I use it to help them solve their problem and collecting money. How come to invest? I don't think any employer will take it lightly. Right? It's like, except I don't think any employer take it lightly. So that's my advice. Either you help them to solve their problem internally, even if it's not your primary work, or resign and go and be getting them to solve the outside and collecting the service example.
Okay. Final question? Oh, yeah.
I would like to say the so my question is short, very short. What is your advice for when I want to start investing in business?
Okay. So it depends on when you want to start. Depends on when you want to start. And there are various outlets to start. I mean, I started from developing because I had the resources. I started from building out from where I was sorry. That guy that even gave me advice, he didn't even started from marketing. Help us people to market their property and making it low commission of those. So there are various outlets, there are various things you can start. It can be from you want to kind of almost study the industry, what are the various options, use ChatGPT to study what they can study, follow real estate, some real estate people on also or not they're not big on Twitter, on Instagram, know what go and watch YouTube interviews of most of those people I've done. We're able to do that. I'm still watching interviews of people that how people started. Big, you can ask ChatGPT to give you the list of top 50 real estate developers in Nigeria. Go and watch the interviews. Most of them they speak to president. The interviews, see how they started. This can be from there. Some started from marketing, some started from development, some started from partnership, some started from friends coming together. So it's a game of knowledge. Okay, so go and study what those people did and pick some lessons from it, and that one will determine where you think you have the strength to start. It can be from marketing, it can be from developer, it can be from it can be something. You can even spot an opportunity that people are not exploiting in ways of extraction of business. Thank you. But without the funds, you can start developing. Buy one land, start developing and start marketing and develop that effort. You cannot do that. You cannot be every other people to start or to market their property. So it can even be agency, commission, all of those things.
Mashallah. It's been an amazing session so far. And we're deeply grateful to have Jarus here.
And this one is comment.
Comments or questions?
No, the comment.
Okay.
So yeah, on the real estate part, actually, you also learned a very hard lesson in K2. I read about it.
Yeah.
So you might just try to read about that. However, we've also noticed that there's a lot of gap in real estate now. Like make more money actually. So I have like a startup we are developing. It's called Save Nest. So we are trying to help the developers to be able to keep their policies and also to help Nigerians to be able to get apartment without necessarily have to pay the lump sum. So I
make your money.
So yeah, so I don't know.
So yeah, and that's it. So there are other opportunities. You don't need to be a developer before you make business. It can even be just, your own can just be, oh, website, you want to understand website, oh, come and be advertising your stuff there, commit your own, like, so there are various, it's an ecosystem. So you cannot even be that, okay, you can just establish one website, oh, people come and visit your property, or you establish one, like, there are various things you can do. You can be a service provider, can be a, various financing, but also, so that the various things, thanks for even minding about that. You can send the link to your staff, so you have that of so that don't have the program you're talking about.
So we are so grateful to have Jarus here, and for me, it's a dream come true in the sense that I've been looking for ways to have him to come around to look at because when we wanted to have this, like I told you, it was the first I ran to that, hey, I've raised money, then I'm to execute the problem, I don't even know how it's going to work out, So I have to speak to him, and here we are today, alhamdulillah. So I'm also happy to formally present my book to him. I told him I was going to share the book with him. So it's a big pleasure. It's a big pleasure to present the book to you. Thanks so much for your support, for your mentoring, for your guidance to millions of people that have benefited from your wealth of knowledge. So we're deeply grateful to be associated with you. Thanks so much, Jarus. So maybe if I post, who will buy my book? Thanks. So I just felt like I want, because it's born out of my own personal experience from moving from banking to oil and gas. So I didn't know, like, I struggled to quickly blend with oil and gas. I want to be able to transition easily. Any industry, you're able to read about it and quickly get into, get to work. It's also to let people also know that your work, even if you're an accountant, your work good with your accounting, understand the business.
Exactly. That's very important.
And the good thing about the book also is that if you want to do any business, it's more like reading about the business model. So it tells the story of each of the business areas. So, okay. If you don't mind, someone just ask another question. My question is, I study accounting, but I work in a school. Because of this, I kind of fell in love with education. So my question is, can I have an account tutorial center? But I'm not yet chartered. It's an opportunity I saw in an area. I'm just confused.
If you see the opportunity, please, it's a matter of getting people to package. Yes, you can. There's one that says founder of an icon has to be an
account. Exactly. You see the opportunity, get to it.
So it doesn't, I'm not an engineer, I'm not a builder, but my own is also that I'm not me. This is not for me, I will just take it and be the guy.
Please, let's wait. I want to take picture of the crowd. So she wants us to